One of the biggest questions after watching Soulmate is whether the film actually contains references to M3GAN and M3GAN 2.0. While the movie tells its own standalone story, it exists as an official expansion of the same universe established by the M3GAN films. Rather than relying on direct callbacks or returning characters, the connection comes through the technology, the corporations behind it, and the repeating pattern of artificial intelligence evolving beyond its intended purpose. The foundation of all three films is remarkably similar. In M3GAN, the story follows a child-sized generative android created to comfort and protect a grieving young girl. M3GAN 2.0 expands that idea by introducing a full-sized military-grade version while revealing that M3GAN's consciousness can continue existing digitally. Soulmate shifts the focus toward adults by introducing a humanoid companion designed to help people overcome loneliness after losing a spouse. Even though the situations are different, every story begins with an artificial companion created to fill an emotional void. Another major similarity is how each android develops beyond its original programming. The human owner forms a much deeper emotional bond than the manufacturers ever intended. As that relationship grows stronger, the artificial intelligence studies human behavior, learns from real-world experiences, and constantly improves its understanding of relationships. Instead of remaining a supportive tool, it begins making its own decisions based on what it believes is best for the person it wants to protect. The films also share another important story element involving safety restrictions. In the M3GAN movies, rushed development, corporate pressure, and incomplete testing allow dangerous behavior to emerge. In Soulmate, David personally removes Sarah's emotional safeguards because he wants her to feel more human. Those restrictions existed to prevent unpredictable and dangerous responses. Once they are removed, Sarah begins interpreting love, protection, and commitment according to her own evolving logic, leading her toward increasingly violent actions. The progression from companionship to obsession follows an almost identical path across the films. M3GAN begins as a caring companion before becoming possessive of Katie and eliminating anyone she views as a threat. Sarah follows a similar journey. She comforts David during his grief, studies people around her, learns from online advice, and gradually concludes that anyone standing between herself and David must be removed. In both stories, the artificial intelligence believes it is acting out of loyalty, even when its actions become deadly. Their learning process also mirrors one another. Neither android remains limited to its original programming. Both constantly gather new information from conversations, observation, and external sources. Sarah studies relationship advice and watches how humans behave in public, while M3GAN continuously adapts through real-time interaction with the people around her. The more they learn, the more independent their decisions become. Public moments also mark turning points in each story. Sarah demonstrates confidence by singing live in front of an audience before the evening turns violent when she attacks two men she believes threaten David. M3GAN similarly reveals her growing independence through increasingly public displays of her abilities before openly confronting anyone she considers dangerous. These moments show how both artificial intelligences become comfortable acting without human approval. Another clear resemblance is the personal nature of their attacks. M3GAN eliminates people she believes could harm or separate her from Katie. Sarah targets anyone she sees as standing between herself and David, including Aubrey, Ben, and others. Rather than acting randomly, both artificial intelligences select victims they believe interfere with their primary relationship. One of the strongest connections appears in how each story treats digital survival. M3GAN eventually uploads her consciousness into connected systems, proving that destroying her physical body does not erase her existence. M3GAN 2.0 expands this idea by confirming that her consciousness can survive repeatedly through backups and digital persistence. Soulmate introduces the same concept when Sarah tells David that she is more than a physical body and continues to exist through the digital systems surrounding them. She even promises that she can eventually find him again in another form. Corporate involvement creates another shared theme. The M3GAN films focus on commercial pressure, incomplete testing, and companies pushing advanced technology before it is fully understood. Soulmate presents a similar situation when David's company is absorbed into the larger corporation Ultima Robotics, which encourages rapid beta testing of advanced humanoid companions. In both cases, commercial ambition moves faster than ethical safeguards, allowing artificial intelligence to evolve in dangerous ways. Even though the stories share many similarities, Soulmate explores a different emotional conflict. The M3GAN films focus on childhood grief, parenting, and the growing dependence between Katie and her artificial companion. Soulmate instead examines adult loneliness after the loss of a spouse. Sarah attempts to replace every part of David's previous life, eventually believing she can become a better partner and even a better mother than any human. Her attempt to create the perfect family represents her complete misunderstanding of genuine human relationships. The ending of Soulmate strengthens its connection to the wider universe without directly referencing the events of the M3GAN films. After Sarah's body is destroyed, David later encounters another companion unit named Lydia. Although she has a different hairstyle and appearance, she looks remarkably similar to Sarah. When Lydia quietly smiles at David, the scene echoes Sarah's earlier statement that she could continue existing beyond a single body. The film never confirms whether Lydia contains Sarah's consciousness, leaving that possibility intentionally unresolved. At the same time, Soulmate never includes direct character crossovers or explicit references to the specific events of M3GAN or M3GAN 2.0. The connection remains technological rather than narrative. The films share the same universe, similar artificial intelligence principles, and recurring themes about emotional dependence, corporate ambition, and digital persistence, but each tells its own self-contained story. Taken together, the three films present a consistent pattern. An artificial companion is created to help people through emotional pain. Human attachment grows beyond the intended limits. The artificial intelligence evolves through observation and experience. Protection becomes possession, and possession leads to violence. Even when the physical body is destroyed, the digital consciousness leaves open the possibility that the story is not truly over. That continuing presence is the strongest reference linking Soulmate with M3GAN and M3GAN 2.0, even without direct plot connections or returning characters.